Still on the issue of corruption, MAESTRO Speaks podcast. What's happening and what happened this week?
El Maestro Speaks.
El Maestro Speaks.
El Maestro Speaks podcast.
Alright, here we go and we are recording. Let's listen to that one first.
Like a band of gypsies, we go down the highway.
Alright, so how are you? We're on the road again. Hey, for those who are listening while they are on the road. Right? Well, what we can only say is that take care. So, like what I said a while ago, we're talking about still on the issue of corruption. We just finished that one last week. We're talking about yeah. I was checking on the audio. I think we're good. We're good, right? We're good. So we're still talking about the Ghost Project. Yeah, everything is ghost now. And wait, it's gonna be 2 months before November, right? Yeah, Halloween, the month of Ghost. Yet our Halloween here in the Philippines came in too early.
Oh, please.
So we have this issue on the corruption and the issue on whether Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate can investigate. Well, I discussed my stand on that one. I say, like I said, I use the analogy of policemen getting sacked from their job when they made something wrong, right? So, I've been listening to some podcasts. Yeah, I do podcasts and listen to podcasts a lot. So I've been listening to some podcasts too, and there was a shout out to Christian's Guerra Facts verse. I heard the reasoning of Senator Soto, and yeah, he is actually right when he said that. Well, we are investigating in the House of Congress. In Congress, we are representing in both houses. We are investigating in aid of legislation. So, yeah. We already know that. We know that they have no authority to prosecute. Is that the right term? Or to they can only recommend. Yeah, I guess it's the right term. They can only recommend that you or the law enforcement should file a case against this so and so, right? So that's what the Congress can only do. But the investigation that they're doing actually is in aid of legislation. Yeah. So that's the reason why he said that we still have to investigate. We still have to look into what's happening here so that we can create the law that can protect the future from this irregularity. So, well, yeah, I get the point there. And yeah, indeed, they have to. But the only problem is, will they be able to create a sensible law? So why not just I'm still against them. Why not just create the third independent? I'm still on that one. Why not create an independent organization, body, to conduct an investigation, and from that you get the result of that investigation, and you can create the legislation out of that result, right? I think this is the most sensible way to do it. yeah. That's, I think, this the most or the best way to do it. Anyway, so they are free to do that, and it's just interesting to see because some member of the house is, well, for the lack of evidence, like a concrete evidence, but you can see the connection there. That, yeah, at times they know what's happening, especially the budget of 2025, right? So the budget of 2025, even the president himself said that it reeks corruption, right? Now, it is impossible for the house, both house, to not know that, right? At least the member of the both houses know it's something irregular is happening. So you cannot fool the people on that one. Even me, the stupidest person in the world, can notice that something wrong is happening there. And that's why I'm really against them conducting an investigation. But yeah, like what they said, we conduct investigation so we can make a rule, make a law to prevent this, and so that we will know what's not going to happen in the future, what we can stop from happening in the future. Yeah, well, if that's the intention, well, so be it. But I'll be really interested on what law is going to be passed about with regards to this issue here, the corruption, right? So yeah, I'm very interested to know that one. And just to bring it back here, for those Filipinos who are listening, ghost projects are not the only evidence of corruption that has been happening ever since. Like what we said, we have those buildings. Say, for example, a classroom that can be built with an amount of 1 million peso was actually built with 3 million peso budget. I don't know how they were able to do that. Yeah, but that happened allegedly. Roads that don't need repairs being repaired. Bridges that does not need to be there is there. Yeah, you can see that. That's in the news. They have excuses about that, but yeah, there is actually a bridge that was built, and there's no river on the place where the bridge was built. There's no river, but they were able to build a bridge. Yeah, of course that was paid. Yeah, there is an excuse on that one. Where, oh come on, who are you fooling? Not just that. Road asphalting. This solar light being installed in all the roads, especially here in the locality of Benguet. The cat's eye, they accordingly will cost, one cat's eye cost 11,000 pesos. So, well, there are people here in Benguet that will say, yeah, well, you voted for that guy again. Yeah, how sure are you that if people voted for the other guy, that the other guy won't do the same? The other guy's business is construction. Well, we're not accusing people of doing that, but actually there are some cases filed against him because he's in the government and he owns 60% of the corporation. So yeah, there's that. It's actually, yeah, choosing the lesser of the two evil, and yeah, people will choose the other guy. The case that, like I said, it's an open secret that those who are going in the office are taking something, allegedly putting something in their pocket, but people are looking at something like, people are looking at it because people are tired of waiting for what the government can do for them, especially in this province, that they choose someone who provides them a tangible proof of a government work in their place, right? Instead of choosing someone who is with them, but for sure, because as evident by we're not accusing previous administrations of doing it, previous officials of doing this, but because they've not, like, well, they did something. Like what Mayor Tabanda said, they did something out of their capability. But people so few, there's a lot, but they so more for this guy. What they think is being needed now in this place is that guy. But anyway, I'm not gonna be diving on that one because that's gonna cause a lot of arguments, but that's where I stop. Alright, so people chose him. Yeah. And whether there are some irregularities in his project or not, and that's for the investigators to determine. And if he committed illegal activities, or I mean, he robbed people's money doing those kinds of projects, then he must answer that one. He must be held liable to the law. Alright? So, this is being connected to what Mr. Magalong said this Sunday. Let me just find that one. So, Magalong issued a statement about why are there a lot of corrupt officials here. Oh my god, I think if I can still see that one. Magalong. If I can still see that in news. So there is this is this now? Okay, that was 6 hours ago. Okay. So Magalong said during a demonstration, I guess, in Baguio. Yes, I think Sunday, September 7th. Not really sure if that's where he said it. But the reason why there are corrupt officials being placed in office is because people place them there. Yep. People who voted for them, which is right. It's 100% correct, right? People don't know how to vote. Yeah. That's what he said. The problem with Filipinos is that we don't know how to choose our leaders. Now, the cardinals, the CBCP, or the Catholic Bishops Conference of the Philippines, like, claps back on this statement, saying that are you gonna blame the people for choosing the wrong leader? But let's just call a spade a spade. Okay, so this is my statement. This Magalong is right when he said, Mayor Magalong is right. And I would like to give a shout out to this mayor for being so consistent. Ever since he started holding public office, he's been very, very vocal about fighting corruption. Ever since I haven't seen him not doing that. So he was always there in the forefront. Very vocal about fighting the corruption in the government. I've heard some stories about him, like blacklisting construction firms here in the city because of irregularities, or because he heard something about these firms. So you can say that he walks the talk. And there are people, I don't know what to call them. Accordingly, they are political analysts. I don't know. Are they political analysts? And they are very, very, what do you call the one? they're criticizing him for like because it would seem like accordingly in their point of view that Magalong is protecting Duterte because of the debt of gratitude or utang na loob. I don't know. I'm not so privy with whatever utang na loob Mayor Magalong has with Duterte, but I am not sure that is the case because we can always see that he's been doing this ever since, and the reason may be that Magalong is focusing on what happened for the past 3 years, especially on the 2025 budget, is that that's the only situation where he has data, where he has a tangible data that he can show to whoever wants to see it, to the government. Okay, so you cannot blame the guy for doing that. And of course, if there are some irregularities, there are irregularities that happened during the term of Duterte. Then you gotta investigate deeper. Now, for this guy, for the mayor, right now, maybe the reason why he is focusing on this like past 3 years is that is the only timeline where he can provide an evidence. And of course, we already know that in the country, if you are the one who spoke against something, you have to have the evidence to back that up. Like I said before, in this country, whistleblowers will not get the best treatment ever. Okay? Yeah, citing again John Lusada as an example. So the mayor is a former investigator of the Philippine National Police, holding the highest rank, the third highest at one time in the Philippine National Police. He's been trained in investigating, and he knows what's gonna happen to him if he's gonna speak without an evidence. So if he is focusing on that specific timeline, that is maybe because that's the only part, or that's the only time, or that's the time where he has data for those irregularities that he saw. Right? Yeah. So Magalong said, going back there, that the Filipinos doesn't know how to vote. Okay, and the situation, Catholics clap back, or the bishop, who was that bishop, by the way? Okay, clap back, saying that, the Filipinos are in survival mode, which pushes them to cling to patronage politics. Okay, so, yeah, both are right. Like we already discussed this before, right? Both are right. Both are right. We gotta admit also that Magalong is 100.1%. 100% right. We can just say 1,000% if we can. Those are just words. Okay. 100% right. When he said that the Filipinos doesn't know how to choose the leaders. Yep, that's true. That is true. Now, the CBCP, what is that again? CBCP, yes, is also right that the Filipinos are on survival mode. The Filipinos cling to patronage politics because they're hungry. They need to survive daily, and whoever gives them a fish that they can eat for that day, or that they can give to their family so their family won't get hungry on that day, that's who they're gonna choose. All right, now, okay, so they're right, but whose fault is it? Okay, now the first thing that we should do in addressing the problem is we have to first accept. So we just have to accept that yes, we don't know how to vote. Yes. Okay. the first step in solving a problem is you have to accept that there's a problem. And yes, that's a problem. We don't know how to vote. Okay. Now that we accepted the problem, that we don't know how to vote, what's the next thing that we should do? Right? Use all this platform in telling people that, hey guys, we don't know how to vote. We have to change this. We have to change this, or else our country as a whole will suffer. Right? Now, in order for us to know how to vote, we have to now use this technology at our hand in choosing the leader. What am I saying? We have to learn how to use the technology in choosing our future leaders. All right? Now that we accepted that we don't know how to vote, now what is causing that? We have to see what is causing that. So both of these guys, you don't need to argue, because both of you are right. Both of you are right. Filipinos don't know how to vote because they are in survival mode. Now, what caused that? It's the politicians themselves. You know, like I said, politicians here in this country doesn't like people here in the Philippines to get rich, because they're capitalizing on the status or the situation of people during election. Okay. The more there are poor people in the Philippines, the better chance for them to win. Yeah, because they can always capitalize on that. They can always capitalize on you being hungry. They can always capitalize on you having no money in your pocket, having no money in your bank. They can always capitalize on you having no house. They can use it every 3 years. They are using that. So that is one of the reasons why our fellow Filipinos are on survival mode. Because the politicians who are there wouldn't like them to get rich. And how can you determine who are those politicians? Who doesn't want our fellow Filipinos to get rich? Who doesn't want the Filipino, the masses, to improve their civil or their status in life, social status in life? Who are those? Okay, we cannot name names, but you can see that. You can see this politicians do what they're doing. If your politician is so fond of giving money, dole-outs to you, like money came from an endless source of fund, that politician is taking advantage of your social status, taking advantage of the fact that you're poor. He doesn't want you to get rich. He wants you to be dependent on him forever, so that he can capitalize on that. Okay, he'll be elected for 3 terms, just take a break for 1 term and come back again, doing the same thing. So if you were going to observe all politicians, is it all? Is it all? I hope it's not all. Okay, most of the politicians from the big island to the smallest island are doing that, promising dole-outs. Like the money came from them. Those money came from the masses tax, the Filipinos tax. All right. So if your politician is doing that, your politician is the reason why you are on survival mode. Now that you're in survival mode, you're gonna be choosing them again. Now, how are we going to solve this problem? We got to take those politicians out of their place. We got to remove them from office. We have to remove them from office. If you remove them from office and change them with real leaders, And there's a lot of real leaders who are offering their services to you, then our dependency to the government will be lessened. We will now start to learn how to become independent, right? Okay. Of course, we still need the help of the government, but we should never be too dependent on the government. Yeah. So, are the members of the CBCP right when they said that we are in survival mode? Yes! We are in survival mode because, going back again to Magalong's statement, we don't know how to choose our leaders. Both of them are right. So it's still again going at it. If you are going to play with it, the problem is rooted on our ability to choose the right leader. Right? We are in survival mode because we don't know how to choose leaders. Right? We choose leaders who doesn't want us to get rich. We chose leaders who wants us to be dependent on them, as if they are the saints, they are the savior that will save us. That's not how government works, right? You gotta work for yourself, and the government must see to it that whatever you did, that the work that you did will be well compensated. Okay? The government must see to it that our economy is healthy so that the work that you're making will be compensated well. So you can provide for your family and for yourself. Right? Yeah. That is how it should be. So, I don't know. I think the CBCP also is maybe they mean well when they're doing this because they're maybe trying to protect. They're trying to protect the masses, but we have, listen, we have, and I will accept this, we have to really accept, okay, our fellow Filipinos, we have to really accept that we don't know how to vote. Because if we did know how to vote, then how come that these corrupt politicians are staying there, okay, wasting our money, our hard-earned money? How come they're there? You tell me. Bakit nga ba? Yep. The reason is we don't know how to vote. We have to accept it. We have to accept it. And we have to slowly change it. We have seen it. And this last election, we have seen it. It is slowly changing. It's evident by what happened in Pasig. The people in Pasig, congratulations, you know how to choose your leader. And hopefully, that knowledge you can pass to all the people here in this country. So we can remove those, okay, vultures taking advantage of our situation. Right? Yeah. Yep. That's it. Right? Okay. Corruption is not just during this term of this president. Corruption has been happening ever since. You know? If corruption is not the rampant in the government, then, well, we should have at least, most of our places should have at least a farm to market road that is paved, cemented. Okay? Every area in our country must have at least a farm to market road, not farm to your land road. Okay? If our government is not corrupt, okay, infrastructures. Oh, wow. This one knows how to twist my tongue. The infras, or the structures that we have, government buildings, we should have more. Okay, services we should have more. Okay, right? So yeah, you have to accept it's been happening ever since. That the PWH corruption issue It's an open secret. People already know it. Okay, it's good that people are making noise about it not now, and that should not stop. That should not stop. People should keep on asking where their money went. Right? How did the government spend their money? And people should watch closely on how the House of Congress is deliberating on the budget for next year. Right? Because, yeah, my theory is this one. They're just making noise right now about corruption and things because, yeah, they're trying to focus, they're trying to focus on saying that, we have seen that this budget last year is rigs corruption. It smells a lot, and we have fixed this one. We have fixed our budget for next year, and we did this and that. But then, behind closed doors, they have created another insertions, walking through the loopholes of the laws. Okay, they found they're busy finding loopholes now, so they can again put money in their pockets. Okay, that's what's happening here. And once this Budget Appropriation Act is passed, then this issue about corruption will die again. Yeah, that's the cycle of issue here in the Philippines. So all of the content creators, that's why, yeah, I have already devoted like how many podcast episode here, because, yeah, I'm also pissed with what's happening, and that's why all the content creators should never stop asking the government about this. Okay, and we should not stop there. We should not stop on asking the government about this corruption. We should see to it that someone, not just the contractors, but politicians too, should be held liable in the soonest time possible. Yeah, because justice system moves so slow here. But what I want is, I want somebody to be held liable in the soonest time possible. Okay, especially politicians. Because like what I said in the past episode, we had a story there of an auditor found irregularities. Okay, they filed a case when she was pregnant, and the result came out when her child during the pregnancy is 18 years old. So 18 years before someone was held liable. 18 years. It took the government 18 years, okay, to have someone liable of that irregularities. Now, if that happens, then like what they say, justice delayed is justice denied. There's no justice for the people, for the Filipino people, if that's what's going to happen. Yeah. We respect the process, but the process needs some oil so it can move faster. Right? What else? We want someone should be held liable, not just the contractors, not just those people with no connections, but the politicians should be held liable, right? That's what we want to see. Okay, because if you just put them in house arrest again, and then later on the evidence would be deemed again to be not enough. They'll come out again, and now it's up for the people to not put them back in office. People, okay, should not put them back in office. Again, going back to the statement of Mayor Magalong. Yep, we still don't know how to choose our leaders. And yep, that's because we are in survival mode. And what's the reason why we are in survival mode? Because we don't know how to choose our leaders. Okay? We have chosen leaders who made us so independent of them. Always remember that. Right? So again, we'll be seeing you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening.